Hi guys, today we're going to start working on building out a model for a toothpaste tube. My version is going to be toothpaste. However, you can use the same model for any kind of ointment, like the ointment you put on your knee when it gets hurt and that kind of thing. So let's go ahead and get started right now. First thing I want to do is let's clear my scene here. Turn my screencast on for you guys. All right, we're good there. And then what I want to do is I want to kind of come in and start with my mesh primitive, and I want to bring in a circle. This one's going to be, I think I'm going to do 8. And the reason why I want to do 8 is just to keep the vertices a small enough number so when I'm looking at it, it's not overwhelming. Let's scroll out here. Let's rotate it 90 degrees on Z, and let's scale it down. I don't need it real big, right? Let's scale it down a little bit more. And like I said, I'm not measuring the size of this model. I'm just going to show you guys how to model this. Feel free to scale it to toothpaste if you want. Best tool I use to measure something like that cylindrical shape is using a pair of calipers, and I've got them all over the place here. So I would measure them, but in this case, I'm just wanting to show you the technique of modeling this out. So with that being said, let's go ahead and continue. So basically I've got this circle here, right? And then what I want to do is I'm going to skew my perspective a little bit, and I'm going to extrude it out on X about maybe about right here. Then I'm going to stop. I'm going to come back, front view, turn X-ray on, grab these verts here at the head of it. And then what I want to do is I want to extrude these out on X, but I want to scale these in, maybe bring it back a little bit on X. Extrude it out some more, do the same thing, because what I'm trying to do is I'm making essentially like the little neck area here, and I think what I'm gonna do here, let's go back, let's just scale it down a little bit more, because I'm trying to get up here to this little part right here where this neck is, so I can model that properly, right? E and S, okay, and then E and X. And I'm gonna come all the way out here to the head of it, where the little screw piece is, right? And let's see, that looks good for now. So let's turn X-ray off, and let's go ahead, and what we'll do next is we'll deal with the back side of this. All right, let's grab X-ray mode, grab the back end of this tube. First of all, before I do anything, I want to see how long it is. All right, it's good. And I don't need to like scale down everything, but I just want to bring it down maybe to about right here. And you see these verts right here, right? So I'm looking at, I've got 8. So what I want to do is I want to grab these 3 here at the top. I'll grab these 3 here at the bottom. That's 6. And that leaves us with the 2 on the side. And essentially what I want to do is I want to scale them down on Z and get them as close to flat as possible without being flat. I don't want them totally flat, because in the real world, it's not going to be that flat, right? And then I want to come out. I want to take a look at it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this edge loop here, and I'm going to move him maybe more like that, and I'm going to size him down just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to come here and I want to grab these edges down here again, and let me look at it from the top view. Let's see what this looks like. And we're going to need to make an adjustment to that loop that we just screwed with too. So let's put that back. Let's go here, and I want to scale this out on Y only, because actually this needs to taper up. I want this to be more straight. I'm gonna go ahead and grab all these guys again, and then I'm gonna scale these guys out on Y, because I want it to taper out like so. When you look at a tube of toothpaste, that's kind of how it does. I could do proportional editing here. Tell you what, let me screw this a little bit more. Go back up, turn proportional editing on. Yeah, about like that. Okay, turn proportional editing off. So now I've got the basic shape of this tube of toothpaste or ointment. All right, and keep in mind this thing is hollow, so we hadn't filled it with anything yet. So I'm gonna grab these guys back here again, and for now I'm just gonna hit F. Just gonna fill it with an end on for now. And then up here, let's do the following. Let's go to our modifier stack and let's go and create a solidify modifier like so. And I'm gonna play with some values here. 0.00, let's do 0.004 meters. Let me see what that looks like. Yeah, I like that. And let's go ahead and apply it because I'm happy enough with it. Now this is gonna look like crazy, but I want to see what it looks like. Let's turn on sub D, level 2. And what I'm really looking for is to see how this tapers down here where we had that transition. And I think that's gonna be okay, even though it looks like a paddle or ear corn or something like that right now. Don't worry about that. We'll do cleanup work here in a second, and we'll make sure that's all good. So first thing I want to do is I'm looking at the tube here in front of me. I'll put a loop cut in right here, and I'm gonna bevel the loop cut like so, and I'm gonna extrude along normals like so, and just put like a little bit of detail in here. So when I turn sub D back on, you'll see I'll have a nice little transition here like so. That's what I'm after. All right, so now I want to come in here and make an area for this where I think I might want the label to be. Line here, loop cut here, and then I want the other loop cut to go closer down here near the bottom. Let's say, I don't know, about right here or so. And I think I see some weird edge stuff going on. Okay, so it could be the fact that I don't have this tied together. So let's go ahead and deal with this now. All right, so what was going on is I had like that last loop cut I stuck at the bottom was causing these, what was happening is causing these faces to bend a whole lot. These faces don't have hardly any geometry. You can see where it's like it starts here and then it's like kind of twisting and to like this angle, much sharper angle here. That's what was causing the issue. So the way I would fix that is a lot more geometry. So notice that when we run sub D is adding a lot more geometry in here. So if I were to apply sub D, just like let's say if we apply sub D level 2, now look, so we got a lot more geometry to work with here. Every time that face bends, it just does it with a lot less effect the more loop cuts we have in here. But I don't want too many because then it'll look, in my opinion, it won't look that great. So that's what we had going on. So let me undo that last deal there because I don't want to apply it just yet because I want to taper up this bottom piece here. So that was the problem. One thing I want to do real quick is before we get too far ahead of ourselves here, I want to come in here and then I want to go ahead and make these threads. Now the tube of toothpaste I have only has 3 threads up here. So just like you've seen me do in other videos, I do like the quick and easy code here. What I am going to do is adjust these a little bit, make them a little bit more prominent because that's how they look on the tube of toothpaste. And you guys see with Mesh Machine or Machine Tools how much I use that thread feature. Just saves you so much time, so you're not running around having to make all this stuff because it just takes too much time to make these threads from scratch. It's good to know how to, because that's how I learned. I had to learn how to make them to begin with, so I understood how it worked. But then after I made them, it was just like when I found this tool, I never went back. Needs to be a little bit fatter of a bevel here. So when I turn sub D on, see, looks a little bit cleaner here. There you go. Let me disable sub D so I can see this little section in here. Yeah. See, feeling that. That looks good. Let's just say that this top piece here for the most part is done. We got to do a cap, but that'll be pretty easy. So now let's deal with this down here. Let's turn sub D off and we'll start on this bottom piece right here. One way I think I want to handle this is I want to restrict how much of this is like more flat than not. So let's come in here and let's do a loop cut. Bring it down about right here, and we're going to get that weird effect again on those edges, but I'm not stressing that so much. And I want to size this on Z, and what I got to do is I got to fix all of this in here too. And let's go ahead and do that right quick. Let's take this guy and this guy, let's subdivide them. Boom, that's gonna put another, it's gonna put another vert there, everything where you guys can see it. Let's size these in toward each other on Y like so. And then what I can do is I can draw a connection right here between them. So we got all quads in here now. So that fixes that problem. So see, you see a little bit of that bending because they got that big long face there and it's trying to bend and it's causing a shading issue. Like I said, we'll fix this when I turn sub D on. See, it fixes a lot of that automatically. But now this part right here looks a lot better. But one thing I want to do to kind of reinforce this is I want to grab this again. I'm gonna turn sub D back on, and I'm gonna test a theory. I'm gonna use a crease here. Yeah, crease of 1. I think that might work, guys. Yeah, that'll work. I'm good with that. And then all we have to do is tighten up the edges here with bevels, or we can do creases with it as well. Actually, you know what? We could probably do creases here because it's all non-destructive, and I think that'll look pretty good. The only place where I don't really think I want to do the crease is right there on that edge where it goes to that point. I don't think I want the same amount of creasing, however. Another thing I want to do while we're in here is let's do a loop cut right here along the middle. Let's bevel it, segment of 1, like so. Bring it in a little bit like that. Then we'll go to face select, and I'm gonna select this face and this face, and I want to make sure to get it on both sides. You're gonna see what we're gonna do here in a second. Let me turn sub D off so I can see a little bit better. Now, what I want to do is turn sub D back on. So I extruded along normals and I inflated it a little bit. Because what I want to do is just make it look like this little beveled piece of plastic up here. I just don't want it to be really strong. Turn the shade smoothing on. Crank this up to level 3. Yeah, see, that looks a lot nicer. And then like I said, we'll come in here and add loop cuts and all that good stuff here to help this along the way. All right, so now let's go ahead and do the loop cut thing. Yeah, so see, this looks a lot nicer now. All right, so essentially you modeled this this tube. One thing I do want to do is I want to come back in here and I want to add like little crimp marks in the plastic before I do the cap. Let's do a little house cleaning since I started doing house cleaning here. I'll bevel these little edges up right here. And one thing I want to do is I want to come in here, I want to grab this outer edge here. I'm gonna make a duplicate of it, as you can see right here. I'm gonna right click, I'm gonna hit P, separate, and then come back to object mode. That's gonna create a new deal right here. Circle 01, and from here, this is where I'm gonna build a cap from. So since I'm over here in the outliner looking at the fact I've got circle and circle.001, let's go ahead and name some of this stuff. So you can hit F2 on the keyboard, or you can double click. Either way does the same thing, and I'm gonna type for the tube bottom model dot toothpaste dot tube, maybe. For this one here, I'm going to do model dot toothpaste dot cap, and I'm going to select them both. I'm going to hit M, new collection, model dot toothpaste. And then, as you guys know by now, I like to put color on my stuff, so I put a little blue up there, so now I know what I'm doing. So back to the modeling. So I've selected my cap model. I'm in vertex edit mode so I can see what I'm dealing with. We still got the same sides here, the 8 of that circle. And what I'm going to do, let me go here to front view. I'm going to extrude on X. We'll bring that cap pretty much all the way up to about right here. But I'm going to taper it down by using the sizing. And don't worry about the fact that it's overlapping, it's eating into the threads there. So I'm gonna select everybody here, and I'm gonna scale it up on everything but X. So the way you do that is I'm gonna hit S, Shift, X, and that way I can scale it up on every axis but the X axis. See, I'm putting a little air gap between it. Essentially is what I'm doing. And let's come here and let's check our normals. Everything looks good. The world is happy. So now what we can do is I want to grab these edges here. I'll bring them in about right here, like so. And then let me do this from this view with X-ray on, and then I'm gonna bring it down some. I mean, I'm gonna come down quite a bit right before that cap, right before that end piece starts right there. And then I'm gonna extrude everything in. Let me turn X-ray off so we can see what we're doing here. I'll come in again, and then I'm gonna grid fill. Bam, like so. Okay. And there's the basic shape of the cap. While I am in here, a couple things I want to do. Let's run a solidify on this. There we go. Yeah, let's run solidify. I want to run it on the inside here, like so. Make that inside a little bit thicker. Yep, all that still looks good. Now let's apply it. And while I've got it applied, now I've got real geometry here. Let's select some edges. Run some bevels. Do the same thing, nice and tight. And what I want to do is I want to run some support loops in here. Okay. And I want to do the same thing here. 10, let's give it, now I can come back in here and do a level, actually let's do a level 3 like we did before, and let's do shade smooth. And see, this is going to be our shape of our cap. And because I ran solidify and we've got geometry on the outside, on the inside now, so let's bring everybody back and let's make sure that everything is good. So we've got a little overlap here, so we're going to do the same trick again. I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger. Let's make that cap a little bit bigger. Let's get rid of this perspective. And I want to make sure that my cap is sitting where I want it to sit, which is about right here. And I'm looking in here and I'm making sure that everything's still good. And I'd say it is. I do see one thing I'd like to do, just because I'm a little bit nitpicky about it. Just a little bit, not much. But if you look, this edge right up in here, I want to just tighten that up. Like so. Yeah, so it's a little bit tighter now. So when I bring everybody back, now look up in here. So now you don't have that weirdness that we saw a minute ago. All right. So now the cap is done minus the details. Now we add details. So the way I want to handle this is by doing the following. I want to bring in a UV sphere and I want to do a couple things to it. Let's go here on the side and let's cut it in half. And then I want to come here at the bottom and do the same thing. And now I've got a shape I think I can live with here. So let's grab these verts here and let's extrude those along X like so. And that's going to give us a shape like this here, right? But of course it's way too big. So let's scale it. Let's get way down. And then let's move it down here. And you're going to see here in a second what I'm shooting for. Let's go to top view. That's what it's going to look like here. All right. So here's what we've done. I've got this shape. It's like kind of half pill shape. And I've got it set up to where it's over the top of this. Select it all, bring it down, and just kind of stick it in that geometry there. like so. Now, I don't know how well this is going to work, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it and see what happens here. And I want to repeat this all the way across the top. So let's go to top view here, zoom out, and I want to run an array modifier on this. Okay, -y. There we go. And I want to do boop, 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 boop. And they're gonna run straight through, right? So it's gonna be kind of crazy, but keep in mind this is beveled and this thing right here is going straight. So I'm gonna select this edge. I'm gonna make a copy of it. Make a new selection with it. This guy right here, and it's got sub D and everything on it, just like the other. And what I want to do to it is I want to go to Object, Convert to a curve. So now it's a curve, right? So then I'm gonna come back in here and I'm gonna select my little strip of array pieces right here, and I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna go to Deform and Curve. And the object that I want to select is this guy right here. And I just want to see what's going to happen. One thing I do know is because you see it's not lining up right, and I need to make sure that with my curve, object, set object to 3D cursor. So what I did was I moved the 3D cursor to this vertices here that was selected, and then I changed the origin for this whole curve here to start right here. So when I come back in here with this curve, and then I come back in here with my sphere, and I start turning everybody on, now you see that it handles it a little bit better. So that's giving me the curvature I want. So let's play with this, and we'll get to where we get this ironed out. All right, so what I did is I went in and applied on this sphere shape, I applied the array and the curve modifier. And now what I'm doing is I'm just going in and I'm just going to manually place it up here as best I can. This may look like garbage, but we'll see here in a second. And let's rotate this on Y 180. Look at it from the bottom. All right, so what is this? This is sphere. This is going to be model.toothpaste.tube.crimps. And what I want to do is I want to parent it to the tube. And let's do this one more time with that bottom one too. All right. So now we got the crimp at the bottom, and now we need to do crimps on the cap right here. Now I'm going to handle the cap, I think, in a different way than doing this like we did it here. So let's see. Let me look at my geometry here and see if I do want to handle this like this. So I went ahead and made another one of these little cylinder pieces here like we did on the crimping piece on the back end. And I'm in front view now, which got the tube on the side, looking at an orthographic view, and I rotated it to line the contour all the way around with this cap. So what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of bringing it down onto the surface like so. And I'm just going to kind of move it, local axis here, just like so. So when I come back up here to the top, like that, you can see it, right? So what I want to do is I want to now come here, select an edge around this cap. Let's do this one here. I'm going to move my 3D cursor to select it. And I want to come here. Let's look at it from the front here. I'm going to come here and look at that thing, because what I want to do is I want to rotate it around here. All right, now that I've scaled this down, and make sure when you scale this down, because it's at an angle, that you scale along the normals. So it needs to follow the contour of the cap, because that's how we got it tracking with it. So now I'm going to come back in here. I've still got my, let me zoom out a little bit. my empty right here. So what I want to do is I hit Alt E, spin, and then I can start playing with these numbers here. So let's do 72, I think is the winner. Yeah, so see the difference now? Just go back in and make little changes like that. So now what I need to do is I need to select this, give it a name. Call it grips. And I want to do, what I want to do here is I want to parent it to the cap. All right, so now that's done. So now I got a cap and I got a tube that are two separate objects. We don't really need to empty anymore. We have essentially modeled out this toothpaste. And I know it doesn't look like there's geometry here, but trust me, there's geometry here. And there we go, we've got it done. All right, so in terms of wrapping this thing, what I essentially did is I went into the shader tab. I created a vertex group of the selection that I wanted selected of the tube, which was say about right here to right here. And then I dumped in an image, which is, let's see, right here, of a fluoride box that I went online and found. It wasn't a tube. I've only found labels for boxes, not the tube. So I was just like, well, I mean, I just want to show you guys how to get this label on here. So I dumped the label in here of the box. Not so worried about the stuff on the bottom. I just kind of want the fluoride up here at the top. So what I did is I just set up a quick little node setup to basically have a white background. It pulls everything else in from the principal BSDF node here. And then I went in and essentially put that on there. I created a mapping node and a texture coordinate node in case I needed to move some things around. I changed the image texture node here to clip so it cuts off. And then I went into UV editing, and then I had to clean all of this up when I UV unwrapped it because I'm not the best at UV unwrapping. And I had to clean all of these edges up because it was trying to unwrap it to the contour, and I tried different ways of unwrapping it. Like I said, I'm just not an expert at unwrapping things yet, but I know how to. I'm smart enough to make it work right. So I got it set up in here, and now you've got a really nice tube of toothpaste here that we've made in Blender. So congratulations on yet another wonderful model, and you guys did a good job. I'll see you on the next one.